In the normal course of events, you wouldn't think twice about facilitating a resident being able to see a solicitor or legal advisor to make a will. Does the coronavirus make much of a difference to this? I think not. Bear in mind that the government has deemed solicitors and legal advisors meeting with people and taking instructions for and preparing wills to be key workers. You have to bear this in mind. The government recognises this is a significant and important role and step for residents to be able to take. I suppose the other thing to factor is the human one, the sheer anxiety and frustration it can cause when people do finally get to the point of deciding to make a will and they're worried. The next step is, how do you make contact, or how does the client make contact with the solicitor? I would hope that you might have details of who their solicitor is on their care record. If not, perhaps this is something you would want to take into account and record going forward. Another factor is, perhaps in future you would like to encourage people to make wills as well as their lasting powers of attorney. Having identified the solicitor, you need to facilitate your resident giving instructions. Most solicitors at the present time are familiar with and using technological contacts such as Zoom, Skype and FaceTime. You're obviously going to have to assist. Are you going to take the resident to a room which you have set up with this technology, or do you have tablets and other equivalent things that you can take to the resident's room? When giving instructions, the resident is entitled to be by themselves, and indeed should be. It's quite safe. You've got the distancing of the technology. Assuming the solicitor feels they can take valid instructions, they will need then to visit the client in order to get the will signed. Be aware that the solicitor will need to bring with them another witness. There are 2 witnesses required for a will. I would suggest that at this time it is not appropriate for you to relax your rules whereby you do not allow staff to witness wills. I still think it's sensible for you to avoid staff participating in the process. The solicitor will call. Are they going to visit your resident in the resident's room, or can you set up a room which has a separate access and avoids anyone traipsing through the home unnecessarily? It's going to need washing facilities. The solicitor, when they visit, are you going to want them to have their temperature taken? Do you require them to bring PPE? If so, it's worthwhile telling them in advance. I would suggest at the moment that if you require full PPE, you're probably going to have to supply this them yourself. It's very difficult to get hold of this equipment at present because priority for supply goes to care homes and hospitals. The solicitor has arrived and is either in the resident's room, or you have taken the resident down to a safe room where they can meet. Bear in mind, social distancing still needs to be maintained. The solicitor will probably need to be alone with the client while they are dealing with the will. It's not going to take a minute or 2. They need to satisfy themselves that the client understands fully what they are doing, and the solicitor needs the client to confirm the circumstances in which the will is being made. When the will has been signed and the solicitor has left, either you're going to have to make a decision as to whether you are going to then require your resident to isolate for a period of time, just in case something has been brought in. Please don't think that the solicitors who are visiting are not aware of their obligations. We're all sitting in our offices, reduced staff, working at home where possible. We have alcohol gel rubs, we have gloves, we wash our clothes, most of us are self-isolating at the same time at home. So we are aware of our obligations. But you need to make a decision as to whether you will help and how you will help, and perhaps put the plans in place.